Welcome, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to highlight some of the work that was done as part of the Petroleum Environmental Research Forum project. The 9 companies that participated in the project were Amoco, Aramco, Chevron, Exxon, Marathon, Mobil, Phillips, and Texaco. The focus of the project was to find out if solidifiers worked on oils, and if so, what application techniques could be used to help prevent oil spilled on water from reaching shorelines. We first ran laboratory tests to find out how solidifiers would work on solidifying crude oils and finished fuel products. In this test, we added 300 milliliters of diesel fuel to a container of water. Next, we added one of the solidifiers to the diesel fuel. And solidifiers are described as hydrophobic, dry granular polymers that physically bond to petroleum products. In this case, we used by weight 1 part solidifier to 3 parts of oil. After 2 to 3 minutes, the oil and solidifier had bonded together. The material was rolled up into a solid, firm, solidified mass. And once removed from the container, there was no longer any free oil or oil sheen on the water. Here's another test result showing the mass of solidified diesel fuel. In the study, a number of solidifiers were tested and were found to solidify both crude oils and finished products. If solidifiers can solidify oil, how can solidifiers be effectively applied to an oil spill on water? We analyzed various types of sprayers, conducted on-site tests with 3 of the units, and found this Crendel Machine Company insulation type blower to work the best. The unit has an open hopper feed, dual air blowers, a 50-foot hose, and a nozzle spray unit. The sprayer was then taken to Imperial Oil's Wave Basin and Test Tank in Calgary, Canada. Booms were deployed to contain the spilled oil and solidifier spray. Here, South Louisiana crude oil was poured into the boomed area and left to spread out over the water. Solidifier was then sprayed from the side of the tank onto the crude oil, concentrating the spray on the leading edge of the oil. And after 1 hour, the crude oil had solidified, and here we show the matted material being raised out of the water. The wave generator was used to make 6 to 8 inch waves, and then crude oil was spilled, and from the shore, solidifier was sprayed, and the oil on the water was solidified. Various containment and recovery devices were tested. However, we found fish netting to work the best. Nearly 95% of the solidified crude oil was corralled in this manner. It was a good approach to skimming as the water passed through the netting while the solidifier did not. Here we show the solidified oil that came to shore being swept up into a pile with no free oil or oil sheen remaining on the surface. In summary, the study found solidifiers to work on oils and demonstrated that solidifiers can be effectively dispensed on small quantities of oil and on the leading edge of an oil spill. We've shown that solidifiers can work as a response tool for spills on water. But can solidifiers work in other applications? Last year, 6 companies came forward to support another Petroleum Environmental Research Forum project to apply solidifiers to oil spills on land. Participating in the project were Amoco, Exxon, the Gas Research Institute, Marathon, Phillips, and Texaco. Solidifiers were tested with various crude oils and products on a concrete surface. In some cases, the solidifiers would solidify the oil and form a granular mix, like we show here. A spatula was used to scrape the solidified diesel fuel from the surface, and at that point, the granular material could have been swept up with either a brush or a broom, leaving no free oil on the surface of the concrete. In some cases, other solidifiers, when used with the oils, formed a solid mass, like this shown here. And in this test, West Texas light crude oil solidified into a solid matte form and was then literally pulled from the concrete surface, leaving no residual oil on the concrete. Another application technique was to stop a spill from spreading by creating a solidifier boom or dike arrangement. In this test, the solidifier made a solid, impervious barrier when diesel fuel was spilled into the center area. This barrier technique has already been used in landfill situations to prevent fuels from entering catch basins and storm sewers. Next, if solidifiers can work on solidifying oils, they should also be effective in applications to remove oil sheens. We are currently working on removing oil sheens from stormwater and wastewater discharge systems. We ran tests using solidifier encased in booms and found that these booms work effectively in effluent discharge areas. Here we tested a 3-inch solidifier boom in a stormwater discharge area. The coloring you see was not oil, but oil sheen, and this is seen upstream of the boom. Downstream of the boom, there was no oil sheen. Next, we show a refinery stormwater canal and a test site layout using a 4-boom system to prevent free oil and also oil sheen from the water surface. Absorbent booms and containment booms were used to stop any free oil, and solidifier boom was used to stop any oil sheen. Beginning from the rear, the canal was boomed with absorbent, then with a containment boom, next a absorbent boom, and the last a white solidifier boom to catch any remaining oil sheen on the water. At another refinery site, we show the stormwater discharge area with a 5-boom oil sheen protection system. From right to left, absorbent boom, containment boom, absorbent boom, then solidifier boom, and lastly a final protection boom. And the solidifier boom is the white boom, the 4th boom from the right on the picture. We're continuing to work on solidifier technology and application, and in an effort to get better field data, we are pre-positioning drums and booms of solidifier at selected marine facilities, bulk plants, terminals, and refineries worldwide. As the material is used, we will get feedback on the results, and as you would expect, the program is generating a lot of interest. This concludes the video highlights, and thanks again for your interest.